Hey, it's Rose. So I am doing a Christmas crunch. I have not finished my little red dress project, which people can start sharing those on Monday. So I have a lot of work to do. If you have seen my prior stream, I'm actually working on a duplication of a black label gunny sacks dress. So I did a live last Friday where I took the sew.com pattern and made a whole bunch of alterations to mirror a black label gunny sacks. And then I have done a mock-up, or at least sewn it together over the past week. And I know there's still going to be some additional pattern alterations I'm going to need to do. So I thought I would walk through those with you today. So I'll be wearing my mock-up, probably maybe making 1 or 2 more mock-ups and making the related pattern alterations and then cutting out the fabric. And I'm going to try to get all of that done today. Hopefully within the next 3 to 4 hours, we'll see. It took me like 2.5 hours to do the pattern alterations last Friday. So we'll see what happens. So I do have you on a tripod and not my usual arm. So I am going to try to take you over to the sewing machine when I sew things up. I haven't done that before. So we'll see how the sound and the tripod works going forward. So here I can, make sure. Yeah, I think everyone can hear me, right? Can people hear me? Hope so. I'll have my kid check in a little bit. So I made a mock-up out of muslin and I sewed the sleeve on wrong along with the cuff, but it's good enough. So I have sewn up the mock-up right here. You can see it. And I have basted in a zipper. When I make mock-ups, I always baste in a zipper. I know some folks like to pin it closed, but I've never been able to make that work out for me. So I can slip this on. Let me lose my elf ears. So when I made the mock-up, I have not added any of the skirt pieces. I have added a sleeve and only 1/2 of the cuffs. So this is going to be, there's going to be lined cuffs. I did unlined and I stitched the exposed facing on. It's probably really hard to see on the muslin. But if you go back to the live I did last Friday, you can see all of the alterations I did. And I did have a couple of folks join me, and I'm so glad they did because they saved me from making a couple of mistakes with my pattern drafting. So when I got this pattern from sewist.com, I did input my my measurements, but it's not 100%. It's kind of like, it'll get you like 3/4 the way there, but not all the way there. So let me see if I can zip this up. And I'm wearing this top I'm wearing is pretty thin. So I wouldn't usually wear clothes underneath, but hello internet. I'm not going to strip in front of the internet. So let's see if I can. And this is not going to be a close fitting garment. I would say it's semi-fitted. So I'm going to look at my screen. I'm looking over there. But so you can see my shoulder actually ends about here. So it hangs over. I'm not sure if you can see. Yeah, I would probably want to take this in maybe like 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch inside on both, because it's hanging a little bit over. And then let me see. So we do have some pulling here. So I'm thinking I still need to add a little bit of fullness to my pattern. So let me get my pins and we can pen this out together. So I am not a professional pattern maker, seamstress, anything like that. I'm purely self-taught. And I learned actually a lot of my pattern alterations from the Closet Historian, and she's a great resource. So if you have not checked her out, you definitely should. She shows you how to draft patterns from a block, which I'm not there yet, but hopefully someday. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Can you see that fullness? I'm sure when I was doing the pattern alterations from the Sewist, I didn't probably do them 100% right, but so I'm just gonna pin this out. So my apex is right here. I'll mark it. Yeah, you can see that. So I don't want to pinch the dart within probably 1.5 inches of that apex. And let me see, what are we thinking? I'm just going to pin this here. So this is a like a modified princess seam garment. So we'll see what happens. I'll have to pivot this somewhere. And this is going to be kind of a new technique for me. So let me see. Are we thinking that sits down a little bit better? Yeah, see, that makes everything lay smooth. You can see all that fullness. I think I'm okay with how snug it is. It's not going to be as empire as the Gunny Sacks, the black label, but I think I like where this is sitting a little bit better. Because if I went shorter, I've got a pretty full bust, so this is still is not fully underneath my bust line. So I don't think I'd want to lift it any higher. What are we thinking about the waistline? So it's going to be 5/8. I think that's actually pretty good. So I think the waistline is good. The sleeve, so when I move up, oh, did I? Okay, I thought I had pinned my my turtleneck underneath, but I didn't. So I'm thinking the sleeve is a little bit long. It's not as poofy as I'd like, but I think when I move in the sleeve, that 3/4 of an inch, yeah, see, it's going to hang a lot better, and then it won't be too long. So I think that is the only thing I need to do is just pivot this dart fullness, either probably through here. It'll be an interesting alterations. I don't think I've ever done an exposed facing where I need to pivot fullness. So we'll be learning that one together. And then I need to probably, I actually think where the underarm hits is about right. So when I bring this up 3/4 of an inch, I'm going to measure the arm's eye to see the difference of the altered versus the unaltered and see if that takes away too much ease in the sleeve. So maybe I need to do a little bit of spreading on the sleeve as well. So we'll see that. Okay, so can I take this off without completely messing up the pins? We'll see. So I have definitely been procrastinating on my Christmas sewing. So let me know if you're procrastinating as well. I know when I'm wanting to just be productive in the sewing room, I will usually just turn on like a YouTube video or maybe a YouTube live and just work while they work. Makes me feel a little bit more productive. All right, so I need to transfer this this fullness that we just pinned out into my pattern. How is everyone doing today? So I'm outside of Seattle, so it's definitely super rainy and windy like usual. Can people? Okay, I was just checking to make sure. I didn't see the mic move, so I wanted to make sure people could still hear me. So if you join, I do make sure that closed captionings are triggered. My last live last week, I did not go back and update the description with other stuff. I'm still obviously learning how to do lives. But my plan is probably after the holidays for me to go back on these lives and add additional information. And if there's a way for me to like download it and kind of cut out the important bits for other videos, I will do that. But I don't know if that's possible. I'm still learning. Okay. So I'm going to get my front bodice piece. Okay. So it might be a little difficult to see, but that line that is on this bodice piece, that is the original pattern line. And I have bumped it out about 2 inches to mirror the style lines of the black label. So I know that's probably where some of that dart funkiness came from. I've just never done an alteration like that before. So I am going to trace off this piece. So when I do make the next mock-up, it's not, I'm not starting from scratch, and I can go backwards if need be with my previous iteration. Is anyone else working on Christmas projects, like last minute Christmas gifts? I always say I'm gonna make Christmas presents. I don't. Sometimes I make my daughter pajama pants. She loves pajama pants that are ridiculously too long for her, you know, like they're long enough to cover her entire foot. And they don't sell pajama pants like that. So I usually will make her those. I haven't made her some in a while. I'll probably make some maybe next year. She'll be done growing by then. So let me see if I can turn you down just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm using a tripod. I don't usually use a tripod, but I wanted to make sure I could take you with me. Can you see a little bit? So I use Pellon pattern paper to do all my tracing. I use standard washers, and then I use a black colored pencil. I have found that felt tip markers, especially when I use them on a ruler, I get ink all over my hands, but not with colored pencils. So I guess we can just, y'all can watch me trace. So I'm going to trace this, and then I'm like debating, do I trace the back as well? Because that's going to need to reflect that taking in the shoulder by 3/4 of an inch. What I'll probably do is just maybe trace that portion. And so if I need to, I can always just tape it back on. And then instead of just having to trace the entire thing. I've had to do a lot of tracing lately. And this, you know, if this was like a standard like PDF that I knew fit me, you know, from like a reliable pattern company, like I have really good luck with Cashmerette, I likely would not be tracing this. I would probably just, you know, send it off to PDF plotting and, you know, directly cut it out. But because I knew I'd have to do a whole bunch of alterations, I did trace the one that came from PDF plotting. And the sewist.com, you have an option between no seam allowance or adding seam allowance. And they are not consistent with their seam allowance. So in some instances, it is 3/8, and in some instance, the seam allowance is 5/8. So on this pattern piece, the seam allowance for the majority of seams are 3/8, 1 centimeter, except for this side seam, which is 5/8. So let me mark the grain line. Anyone have exciting Christmas plans this weekend? My daughter is actually having a sleepover with all of her friends. And that way they can still hang out and we're not out and about where, you know, the dreaded pandemic is still ongoing, unfortunately. I'm going to say take 2 for this. I know most folks were really hoping that this would be kind of a little bit more settled, but you know, we do what we got to do, right? So I'm not going to cut this out because I'm still going to be doing pattern alterations. So can y'all, let me see. I'm going to move you back a little bit and see if that helps. And if there's any issues like focusing or anything while I walk through things, please let me know in the chat. And probably after the holidays, I will be doing kind of more of my my standard videos where I upload and I edit and, you know, adding images and stuff. I've just been crazy busy with work that I have not had the chance. Okay, so I marked the apex on here. So let me mark it. Let's see, where is it? So I've got, here is where I marked that apex when I was trying it on. The show through, I'll mark it on the back side. And then I will line up all of my seams. And I did stay stitch the collar, which is kind of making it lay down a little bit funny, but I was probably not as precise as I could be when I was doing my my stay stitching. I'm just matching up the seam lines to the sewn seams of the mock-up. And I'm mainly doing this because I want to make sure I get the apex the foundational point for the pivoting of that extra fullness. And the book, if I need to, that I will be referring to during any of these, can you see that? Yeah, it's backwards, but Fitting in Pattern Alterations. It's a little bit of an expensive book, but it is super detailed. I don't know if you can see all that. Like, it does a breakdown of where the fullness should be pivoted. So if you've got maybe adds to, you know, your Christmas list, next year's Christmas list, or birthday Christmas list, this is a great resource. All right, so I need to mark my apex. Am I still, yeah, I'm still good. All right, so I have transferred my apex. So I will unpin my mock-up. Try to remember to drink water this time. I always talk so much and then I end up with like a little bit of a sore throat. Okay, so here is my pattern. I was gonna pivot this, move it in about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna lay this under here and then do a, let me see if I can just do a pivot. Here we go. So I'm laying the original pattern piece underneath this and just matching the underarm seams. And then I'm just rotating the top, and then I will just trace this out. Yeah, I think you all can see that. Okay. And then I'll move over my, okay. So then I need to add the seam allowance, which in this case is 3/4 or 3/8. Always underestimate how long like the mock-up and the pattern alteration process is going to take. But my plan is to do as many lives as I have to get this done. So you're probably going to see multiple live notifications from me this weekend. I wonder though, if I need to, yeah, just want to make sure I'm not taking too much from here. But I think I'll be good. Again, this is all mock-up. So if it doesn't work, I can go back to my first. Okay, so this is all not needed now. All right, and move that a little bit. Perfect. So I'm probably going to have to slash and spread a little bit of my sleeve. I will check fullness on the arm's eye length after I'm done with my my pivot. Okay, so I need to eliminate fullness from here. So if I measure from here, I am, if you can see, I am 1/2. I am 1 3/4 in from the center. So I'm going to mark that. All right. So that's where my dart starts. So my apex is marked here. So let's see, is that, yep, so we're 1.5 inches. And I think the most I take out is about 3/4 of an inch. So I taper to 3/4 of an inch to almost nothing up there. Okay. And then we've got, where is the apex marked? Okay. So it is, just going to lay this over as well. So I have my my daughter has some teenage friends over, so if you hear like hysterical giggling coming from upstairs, that would be them. I love teenagers. Okay, so I'm just making sure my apex is aligned with my marking on my mock-up and my seam. Okay. Yeah, right there. Okay. So I start right there. Okay. So how many mock-ups do most people do? I know for me, I probably make like 2 or 3, and most of it is mainly from my full bust. It takes some tweaking. So I know that the dart that I am having to take out is like 3/4 of an inch. So I am just, it's like folded in half. So I'm going to just go from, I just think that might be a little bit too much. Let's see what happens, huh? Yeah, it's folded in half. I think I'm going to take away 1 inch. So if I pivot that inch from here and overlap and then move the fullness down here, I might not need to take in that shoulder seam. So we'll see what happens. Okay. So right now I am just going to cut up to that apex, not all the way through, to make a little hinge. And then I'm going to cut down from that line I marked up here all the way down. And then we'll just pivot over and we'll see what happens. Not all the way through, and then I can just overlap. There we go. So I have moved the fullness that was up here down to the waist seam. So if I am overlapping, I think I have taken out 1 inch. I'm going to just take out just a tiny bit more. And then I think that I might be able to actually keep the original arm's eye, because that will remove the fullness. Because let's measure the full. Yeah, so I've got 4 inches for the shoulder seam. If I overlap to match that line, wait, okay, 4 inches, and I needed to take it in 3/4 of an inch. So that would be like 3 1/4. Okay, so if I overlap all the way to there, let's see what that takes us to. We're at 3 inches. Okay, so I think I'm okay with that. I'm just going to pivot that. So it's not going to take away all of the fullness, but it will make the shoulder seam lay where I need it to lay. And I'm so unprepared. My tape is over here. Okay, I'm optimistic that this will work. So send positive vibes through the interwebs. We can make this work. Okay. Yeah, and that's like barely any fullness. Move down here. Sweet. We'll see. This seems right. Right? We shall see. Okay, and then I can just cut off this part because I didn't trim. Put it down here. So that will make my front a little bit wider. Is that what I want? Maybe I can, okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, because I don't want to dart here. I think I'm going to actually move this down. Just move the fullness here. There we go. So I have moved that fullness from here, then I've closed it up and I have moved it here. Okay. Just gonna kind of eke that out just a little bit. We'll see if that works. Okay, so I'm gonna just tape up all the slashing and spreading I just did. I can hear so much giggling. All right. So the adjustment I just did took up some of the shoulder width that I needed to cut off. So I don't have to worry about that. Let me fix this a little bit. So then I will need to make an adjustment on the back to match up with the new shoulder seam. But that shouldn't be changing that arm's eye at all. So that's good news. Let's just cut this out. And then do I dare just cut down my original mock-up and see what happens? Should I? Dare I? I think I should. That'll be bad. I don't know why I worry about using up too much of my muslin. It's not like I don't have bolts of it. We're a half an hour in, and I've only just fixed the shoulder seam and the that kind of fullness we were seeing. All right. Okay, so let me get the back piece. Okay, arm's eye, arm's eye. Okay. So I'm just walking my seam. So, oh, this actually has a wider seam allowance. Interesting. Well, I think I am going to drop this down just to match the seam allowance I marked up here. I don't want to confuse myself. I'm going to have to refer to these patterns quite a bit when I am sewing this. So I am overlapping my seam lines. And okay, perfect. I'm just trying not to mess with the arm's eye too much. Just taper that shoulder just a little bit. There you go. And then I'll mark the seam allowance. Definitely don't want to throw that away, just in case I'm going to need it again. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so I just need to update my front bodice piece, so I will just unpick it from this side. I will cut 2, and then I will need to adjust the just the back pattern piece. Let me get my pattern, my unpicker. And I'm going to just test my live and make sure it's working. All right, well, it says I'm live. So I'm just going to. All right, well, it says I'm working. All right, I'm just making sure the comments are working. All right, so I sent the test text in the chat at 2:49. See what happens. Okay, so there's like a 30-minute delay, a 30-second delay from when the chat is entered and when it shows up on the screen. Okay, but it sounds like everything is working. That's good to hear. All right, so I'm not going to unpick the back zipper because I'm only making changes to the shoulder seam, but I am going to need to unpick the side seams. I shouldn't have to make any adjustments to the that Empire waistline. We shall see. I did not baste this, so I'll have to unpick the old-fashioned way, no ripping. And this is kind of a lighter weight muslin, and I do pre-wash my muslin, so that's why it's a little wrinkly. I know some folks actually use like electric razors to seam rip. I have a feeling I would just regret that instantly. It would definitely cut something that's not supposed to. I have a hard enough time. Like during the pandemic when I was giving my husband haircuts, oh my gosh. I'm a nightmare when it comes to razors. So we can use seam. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I'm wearing my elf hat. Let me see if I can rotate it a little bit up. Perfect. Okay, so I am just unpicking the side seams, and then I'm going to need to do some, I'll have to cut out some more mock-ups. So I'll be cutting out 2 new side fronts. And I don't think I'm going to need to make any changes to the exposed facing pattern piece, but we shall see once I stitch this up. Yeah, if this was a little bit of a heavier weight fabric, I would, oh, okay. So right now I am taking the sleeve off of here, and I definitely should have basted this. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was just overconfident that once I sewed this up, it would work immediately. Wouldn't have to take anything apart. But I have been impressed with this, the sewist.com pattern so far. The only downside was that even though I sent it to, PDF plotting, and I said I wanted it to be A0, I still had to, like tape some of the pieces together, but no biggie. It's just a little difficult because, there's no instructions really with these pattern pieces. With this pattern, it's like marked on the pattern piece, but there's no like written instructions. And the patterns like aren't marked with, like this is the front, this is the back for the skirts. So when I was taping everything together, I had to like double check and lay everything out and make sure that I was actually taping together the pieces that needed to be taped together. Like her face, right? Oh, I just ripped my sleeve. It's cool. I'll just use a whip stitch to hold it together. What is this? Yeah. It's like it was going so well until I ripped it. So I'll probably just maybe when I'm stitching up these seams, I might just do a kind of a loose zigzag abutting that rip, and then I can keep using this mock-up sleeve instead of having to cut out another one. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you can see I did rip the sleeve a little bit when I was pulling it apart to seam rip, but I'm just going to lay that. I'm going to like butt them into each other and just zigzag when I stitch my mock-up. So I'll lay that off to the side. All right, so the back pattern piece. So I need to take this apart. So the shoulder seams I'm taking apart now. I'm like, don't get excited. Don't rip it apart. Definitely should have sewn the exposed facing together before stitching the side fronts to it, because now I'm going to have to like unpick that entire seam. It's only just a little bit that'll have to be stitched over again. Is anyone making something festive to wear for Christmas or New Year's? I know with everything going on in the outside world, most folks don't actually want to get out much anymore. Yeah, I was hoping we'd be further along, but my husband and I got our boosters a couple weeks ago, and hopefully my daughter will be able to get her booster within the next couple of months as well. So that should help. All right, so I have taken one half, so just the back one of the shoulder seams apart, and I will need to do the other one. Everyone like my festive? It's got, I think, yeah. Oh, can you hear it? The little bell. I thought it'd be fun. Yeah, last time I think I had like 2 or 3 folks that were in the chat. I had one person who stayed with me for a decent amount of time, and they were doing mending. So it was kind of nice. We were mending together. And you can hear, I don't know if you can hear my cat, but my cat is outside the door trying to get in. She knows when I'm on like a Zoom call or when I'm streaming, because she just like wants to get up on the table in the middle of everything. It's like, how dare you try to be, productive. Crazy. We've been here for 40 minutes already. I was thinking by this time, oh yeah, I'll have the mock-up already cut out. Yep. I'm definitely not the fastest sewist. Okay, so I'm going to, oh man, I have to take off this entire waistband. Does anyone have a favorite holiday movie they haven't watched yet? I haven't watched Die Hard yet. I always have to watch Die Hard. And that is for me, that is not for my husband, because Alan Rickman was a gem. And then we will usually watch Polar Express together. And then during that hot chocolate scene, I will go up and make hot chocolate. And so we will drink hot chocolate when Tom Hanks is serving, the conductor is serving the hot chocolate on the Polar Express. So it's a nice little thing that me and my husband have done since we've been together. And then there is like a Rainier Railroad. So because I'm based near Seattle, there's a Rainier Railroad south of here. I think it's about an hour and a half away. And they do a Polar Express. I don't know if they're doing it this year, but they do a Polar Express. That's cute. It's definitely, I mean, it's worth it to go once. It's definitely not a repeatable experience, but it was a lot of fun. And they encourage folks to wear their pajamas. I think my daughter might have worn pajamas. I was just wearing my festive dress. Man, unpicking muslin. Oof. It's probably because I wash it. So learning opportunity, right, is that I should not pre-wash my muslin because it makes it more difficult to manage. Some of the the gunny sacks that I like, it looks like they use something very comparable, like almost like a gauze muslin for the sleeves. So I was just thinking that I'll just pre-wash all of this muslin and I'll have it should I ever want to make that design. But I definitely should have just not pre-washed it and just washed it should I want to make that kind of design. Wow, this is taking forever. Why did I use 2.5 stitch for my mock-up stitching? My gosh. Not going to do that again. I'm going 4 next time. This is ridiculous. It's taking forever. So I took a jeans making class with Lauren Taylor. So Lauren Taylor. So that's the Ladybird, LL Ladybird. And like her whole thing was like, you can't unpick, like don't unpick. But she did unpick a couple of my seams. Like she's like, oh, if you really need to unpick something, send it to me. So she didn't encourage unpicking, but she would do it for you. And she had this like little razor that she could just unpick seams. But it was also denim, so didn't have to worry about it ripping like my sleeve just did. Am I daring? Yes, I am daring to rip it again. Did I learn my lesson? No, because I'm trying to do it again. It's just taking forever. That's like the worst part of sewing is the unpicking. If anyone actually likes unpicking, let me know in the comments because that would be interesting. I've never met anyone who actually likes unpicking. Okay, I'm like, please don't rip, please don't rip. I think what I'm gonna have to do is just like rip an inch or two and then unpick, rip an inch or two and then unpick. And that should minimize the stress on the weave of fabric on it. It will rip less, hopefully, right? That's the plan, right? Okay. And I am wearing a Nico that I have heavily modified because I wanted a little less ease. And this fabric is a poly something dead stock fabric that I bought from Metro Textiles. I don't know if you can see it. It looks like oil slick. I thought it was fun. I need to get a camera with like a little viewer box because I'm always having to like look to my laptop, look at my webcam, look at my laptop. So we'll see. Maybe Santa was nice to me and I get better filming equipment. But I don't really film as much as I'd like, especially lately because just work's been super crazy. But next week, a lot of folks are out of the office. So hopefully it'll be a little less crazy, and I will be more productive while I'm at work because there will be less people pinging me throughout the day. You can only hope, right? And there were some folks actually in the office on Friday. Like my work is kind of like, yeah, come in if you want, but I'm still paranoid. And I take public transit to work just because it's faster, and then I don't have to worry about parking in the city. But there were like a lot of folks all in one conference room on Friday. I'm like, I mean, I bet it's super nice to see your coworkers, but I'm still a little paranoid. I mean, aren't we all? I'm sure a lot of folks are tired of being paranoid. I know I am, but what you gotta do. I'm very thankful that I don't have anyone immunocompromised in my immediate family, so we don't have to, not only worry about ourselves, but what we might take home for them. So, try not to go out too often. We still do, probably go out more than I would ultimately like, but you gotta get out. I had to get out. Yeah, I'm hoping that we'll see if things settle down. I'm hoping that we can travel a little bit more this year. My daughter and I, before COVID, we used to do something called get lost trips, and we have moved from Northern California to Washington about 5-6 years ago, and we're still learning, all the areas and all the little small towns. So what we try to do is just go to a different place we haven't been before, but we set kind of like a general destination and not a specific destination, and we'll just kind of drive in a general direction and kind of discover it. So we have not made our way across the pass over to like Spokane and Boise, or I guess it'd be Coeur d'Alene. We haven't made it to Idaho yet, so that's going to be hopefully on our next trip, maybe during spring break. We'll head out there. We still haven't been to Canada yet. I know the border just opened, but that one is probably going to take a little bit more planning. I don't know if we would want to just like aimlessly wander around in Canada, but that's on our list. Someplace to go soon. Okay, so I have taken apart the side front. All right, so I can put that over there. And then I have to take off the other side front, and then I can cut out the new altered pieces, and then make that adjustment to the back pattern piece, and then I'll be stitching this all together. And then if it works, we can start cutting out the fabric. So we'll see. There's quite a lot of fabric to cut out with this dress because it is maxi length and there is ruffle, which kind of surprised me. Like usually for me, like I consider ruffles to be like 2 times longer than the than the edge they're being gathered into. But and you can see all of the math, not the best math, but the math I did in my previous live. I think the average like gathering ratio on this dress was like 1.46. So I'm just going to say 1.5. But yeah, I thought that was a little, not as much as I anticipated, but we'll see. And if I'm going to make this up, and if it's not perfect, I can always make up another one. I have way too much fabric, so I just need to start sewing it up. But I am making a mock-up of the bodice. I thought I wasn't going to make a mock-up. I mean, I was on the fence about making a mock-up of the skirt, but it's just so much fabric. I don't want to cut it all out. And it is what the 18th, and Christmas is a week from now, so I need to get this done. I had planned to have this done already. There's a really cute Christmas light exhibit going on at the fairgrounds south of me, and I was thinking, oh, my Gunny Saxmas, my Gunny Sax Holidays dress would be super cute to wear down there with all of the lights, but I haven't done it yet. And I procrastinated a lot on my my Emerald City Comic Con, my Barbie dress. which I might do a video about just to break down all the different like stuff I did to the bodice. But yeah, there was like little details that I had like, you know, already bought supplies for that I ended up just not using because I didn't feel like doing it. So much regrets. This tiny stitch length. Like finding myself get impatient, like making my cur face, and I don't want to rip this any more than I already have. So I'm still taking off the side front piece from the center facing portion. I think folks are pretty busy today. I haven't seen anyone join the stream yet. We went shopping today, and it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. So that was a nice surprise. It wasn't too busy at Target. You can hear my cat. Well, I don't know if you can, but she's definitely outside the door trying to get attention. Oh, and I shortened the seam allowance, didn't I? There we go. There we go. So right now I'm just taking that that fullness out of the back sleeve, just so it aligns with the new sleeve shape from. I should not be using my paper scissors. And I am listening to Lo-Fi Girl, and I put their information in the description box. Let's see what I usually listen to when I work. I really like it. Very mellow. I couldn't find one, you know, that was like Christmas themed, or else we would be listening to that. But at least I have my festive headband. And yesterday, my work did a virtual holiday party, so we all were wearing our festive sweaters, and I have this really cute hat that I was wearing, and yeah, it was fun. I mean, as much as a work party can be, right? Especially with like middle of the day, so it was lunch, so it wasn't really, there was no alcohol or anything, and we did get some really cute gift baskets. So I already ate some of the food from that. All right, so I have adjusted the back, and I have just kind of adjusted it on here. I'm not going to take off the zipper. So I have the back piece, and here is my center front panel. I will put that off to the side. And then these two side front pieces are the old pattern, so I can just chuck that, and I will move the first iteration away so I don't accidentally cut that out. And here's the waistband that's going to be attached at the bottom. So I need to cut this front piece out of muslin. All right, where did the, okay. Hopefully you can't hear my cat. She's she is beautiful, but she's super high maintenance. And like not in a good way. She's just like she's a scaredy cat. Yeah, when we got her, they thought she was a runt, and she was small, but she will not fight other cats for food. So she wouldn't eat because she was always having to compete with her litter mates, which was unfortunate. So she definitely was not as big as she needed to be when we got her. But she has since remedied that, and she's a little chonky. But we love her. So right now I have a layer of muslin, so I folded it over to cut out 2 of my side fronts. And once I have it, it's a little wrinkled. Yeah, I definitely learned my lesson. So I need to definitely not pre-wash the muslin because it makes it super difficult to unpick the seams and then also extend my stitch length. So instead of a 2.5, I need a closer to a 4. All right. So I use big thick washers as my pattern weights. I'm just weighing down my fabric. Okay. And I need to get my rotary cutter, and I do use a mat and rotary cutter. I have really bad tendonitis in my wrists, so I cannot use regular scissors too much or it'll aggravate it. Like, even when I did my live last week, I was having to use the paper scissors to cut the pattern, and yeah, my wrist was kind of messed up all weekend because of that. But that's okay. It'll be worth it if my dress is beautiful. So I'm cutting out the 2 side fronts based on those pattern alterations I did in the earlier, did a little bit earlier. So we're almost at the hour mark, and I'm just now cutting out the new pattern pieces. And I usually do not use a tripod for filming. I usually have this like stand that I put on my cutting table. But I have you on a tripod today, and I'm going to try to take you with me when I go to my sewing machine. So we will see how that goes. We'll see. Hopefully it won't be too shaky. And I thought about using my phone today, and I didn't realize that for you to use your phone to stream live on YouTube, you have to either have 1,000 followers, which I'm not nearly close to, or you have to install some like apps and stuff. And I'm sure there's tons of like tracking shenanigans on those. Okay, so I have my 2 side fronts cut out. And now I need to attach that to my front facing. Here's the waistband, not attached that yet. Here is my front facing. So I am going to wake up my iron and press this flat. And then I'm over here if you can see me. There we go. Yeah, you can see me. I'm just waking up my iron. And my sewing room right now is a disaster, like such a mess. I still haven't vacuumed after I made my holiday Barbie dress, so I have glitter everywhere. And if you have seen my sewing room walkthrough, you will know that I have red shag carpeting that I have not replaced yet. And we have been in this house for like 5 or 6 years. And so like thread and all the glitter and everything is embedded in it. And I mean, it's not like it's going to take very long to vacuum and clean up, but have I done it? No. So that might be a Christmas present to myself, is cleaning up my sewing room. And maybe have my kiddo help. She can help. Sometimes she helps. I bribe her with Starbucks. She can be super helpful. I don't know if she's gotten my Christmas present yet. I might just say that. You're going to help me clean my sewing room for a Christmas present. I definitely need to reorganize my sewing room. I have tons of fabric that I do not need to keep. And hopefully in a video, I haven't edited it yet. One of my friends, one of her acquaintances from church actually gave her a whole bunch of fabric, and I think it was like 5 or 6 boxes. And I filmed the unboxing of that. I went through and rewatched it because I think it had been in storage for a little bit, but I have piles of fabric too. I need to go through and organize everything, right? They said every sew is ever, right? Too much fabric, I need to organize things. That's why IKEA exists. Because we keep buying more stuff. And then you can buy more storage to store all your stuff. So I'm just trying to press the facing flat just to make pinning onto the side fronts a little bit easier. Okay. And I think I have one person who has either stopped by or has watched. So if you're still there, say hey in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know where you're from. I'm from the Seattle area. I'm from the burbs, not from actual city, but close enough. We live pretty close to the water, which is beautiful. One of the reasons why I moved up here from Northern California is there's just so much water everywhere. I love the sound. It's beautiful. But we live super close. Oh, hold on. There we go. That's better. We live super close to the sound. I'd say probably like a mile or two. And we never go down there. Not as much as I'd like to. Anyway. We'll see. This is going to be interesting, easing this princess seam. We shall see. Oh. Okay. I'm not the only one. Yeah, when I told some of my sewing ladies, I was like, oh yeah, I pre-washed my muslin. They're like, you pre-wash your muslin? I was like, because I thought if I really, if I really liked it, I could use it for sleeves on the gunny sacks dress. And so I was like, oh, I can just have it ready if I ever need it. And it was a bad mistake. It was a mistake. But I have tons of muslin, so I could have just cut it out, and I didn't even think about it. I could have cut out the side fronts I just altered out of the, the unwashed muslin. Oh, well. So you're from Pennsylvania. I have not. Oh, no, I have been to Pennsylvania. Only like a smidge on the border, where like Washington crossed that river. There's this really cute tourist area. I've been there because I had a business trip in Trenton. So one night we went to that cute touristy town. And how does it not make perfect sense? Especially the new sewer not to wash. I know. Lessons learned, right? I've been sewing, let's see, I am in coal region. Most folks don't want to come here. Oh no. I have not been there yet, but there's some really cute small towns all the way out there though. I love small towns. Yeah, there is, I think Fabric Mart Fabrics is from Pennsylvania. So I'm hoping that I can make a road trip out there and see more of Pennsylvania than that, 3-block area that I saw. That should not count as being in Pennsylvania because I was only there for dinner. Yeah, we don't have a lot of family. I think the only East Coast family I have lives in Georgia. So we don't really have a reason to go to New England. My daughter has family in Maryland, but we're not that close with them, so we haven't seen them for a while. So right now I am pinning the side front to the that center front that's going to be the red portion. And I don't think I've showed on the screen the dress I'm making. It is on the thumbnail, but it's hard to see it. Bison by Hand actually let me share her photos for this dress she currently has listed. If you can see that. So that's the dress that I'm making. And right now I am doing the mock-up of the bodice so I can get that to fit right before I cut it out of my fabric. And my fabric is vintage from the 70s, so I obviously will not be able to get more. So I want to make sure it fits well before I cut out my dress. And then if the music is too loud or if it's distracting, let me know. I can turn it down. I don't think it registers on my mic, but anything's possible. So right now I am just easing this princess seam a little bit as I'm pinning, just to make it easier when I sew it up. I wonder, the dress is pretty. I saw the other ones you made. I do have a question. If you have to do so much surgery to your patterns, why not make your own? I have never, I took a couple of block classes with Brooks and Camper, and I just wasn't able to make it work. I also have a couple of, like make your own block things from Craftsy. I don't know. I think I need to work on it a little bit more. I do, and we'll see. That's probably going to be the second or third project I get from now is sewist.com. I actually did use the same measurements to create this pattern, to create a block. So after this, I might just work on that and make a block and then go that. I did 8 of them before I got it done. Oh gosh, you did 8. Oh goodness. Well, that makes sense, right? And I think for me too, my weight fluctuates so much that it's like, okay, well, I'm like talking 20, 30 pounds. There is a gal, dress pattern making. I don't know if I follow her. I follow Closet Historian. I absolutely love her stuff. Let me see, dress pattern making. We'll have to add dress pattern making. Okay, it popped up. Okay, I do not. I am now following. Thank you for that tip. Oh my goodness, my daughter just joined the chat. Do you so after you made your block, if your weight fluctuates, can you still use it, or do you have to make another one? Because my weight has fluctuated like 30 pounds, but you need to make a good block first. Yeah, I bet so, because there's so much oh no. Sorry, my daughter's friends have taken over the chat. But you need a good block first. Yeah. Once you have the block, you can adjust it. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm already adjusting the other pattern, right? That would make sense. Yeah, you're right. That would make sense. Yeah, I do find that too. Like a lot of the dresses I make, I do add wide seam allowances so I can, like adjust it as I gain weight or lose weight. So yeah, the block would be the same thing. I should do that. I think I also like having, especially with some of the patterns I have, like I inherited them from my grandmother. So I think it's more of like a nostalgia thing too. It's like I'm making something that she's also made. I'm not sure. Okay, so I am going to try to take you over with me to my sewing machine. So we'll see how that works. All right, I have not done this before because last time all I did was, I think I spent 3 hours adjusting the pattern. Yeah, that's why it takes me so long. I don't have a block yet, right? I should tell you, I am learning and started by using tape. So drawing from a tape measure onto the fabric. Oh, okay, yeah. What's her name? Is it Chinello? I think she was from Great British Sewing Bee. She drafted all of her patterns as well. And that makes sense. I mean, I've done that for like, like a circle skirt, but I have not done it for, anything beyond that, honestly. Okay. So apologies if you are dizzy. I'm trying to take you with me and you'll see my messy, shameful sewing room. Okay. Okay, I'm going to put you here and I will move my iPad, my laptop and my microphone. Okay. So I'm going to try to tilt you down a little bit, and you can see all of that fabric in the entryway is all stuff that I just got from that stack. And I just need to, obviously, I need to just donate it, honestly. Yeah, I think folks can still see me, right? All right. Okay, we'll see if this works. And I'm trying to, yeah, can you see? Hi. I'm trying to bring up the video on my phone so I can still see you while I sew. So this is my beautiful overpriced Bernina. I love her. It's definitely like, I don't know, when my daughter said that you could buy 6 iPhones with that. It was expensive. Oh, do I use the serger? Yeah, I do, especially when I sew knits. So I sew lots of different fabrics. So I use the serger primarily for knits and then for seam finishing. And I got it, it was like just like a brother cheap model. So it was, I think, like 200 and 250. And let me know, I kept the mic over there. I didn't want it to be too close to the sewing machine. So I'll try to talk a little bit louder, but if you're having trouble hearing me, let me know. So I'm going to adjust my stitch length to 4. My standard stitch length for everything is like 2.5. And I don't know what I was thinking. I used 2.5 when I was sewing this all together. So it took forever to unpick everything. So you're going to see my back for a bit. Yeah, I'm hoping I get like a streaming camera or the ability to use my phone for future streams. This webcam is kind of tricky because it's attached to my laptop and it doesn't really have a long cable, because optimally I would want you like here so I could look at you while I'm sewing, but we'll figure this out. I use either French seams or rayon. Oh, I love rayon seam binding. It is beautiful. I inherited a bunch from my grandmother, and it's worked out pretty well. So I'm going to start sewing. I don't think my sewing machine is too loud, but we'll see. And the muslin got sucked in. Sorry, too close to the edge. That is one thing I'm not, even though this is like a really expensive sewing machine, if I start too close to the edge with like a knit or a fine fabric, it gets sucked in. I do have a needle plate I can swap out that turns it to a straight stitch, but I didn't do that. Let's see. It takes practice to do it neatly. I'm not quite there yet. Do you have tips? Practice. Practice. And it also depends on the serger too. The serger I had before this one was like 25 years old. And it was like indestructible, but like I couldn't drop the blade. And it was really hard to get tension right. And with this machine, it's been a lot easier. So it could also be the machine too. I do not have a serger. Yeah, definitely. Like I would try well, and I think you've got techniques that work. You're doing French seaming and rayon seam binding. And if that works for you, I'd go for it. And it's going to be probably more durable than a serge finish. It's definitely not a necessity. So are you working on any projects? Just hanging out? Oh, robes. That is a great Christmas gift idea. I always want to make folks Christmas gifts, and then I like procrastinate and wait till the last minute, and then it ends up not happening. And then I try to rush, and then I don't like the quality, and then it spirals badly. So is it like minky, or is it just like regular poly fleece that you're using? Can be very entertaining seeing the back of my head. I will try to get a better setup. I was hoping that I could use my iPhone, because I see other people do it, but I didn't realize it was tied to subscription. We can make my. Oh, you haven't made your Christmas dress yet. I haven't either. 100% cotton tablecloth that I'm going to make a half circle detachable. Ooh, some of those tablecloths. Is it a vintage tablecloth? I'm using inexpensive fleece blankets. Oh yeah, sweet. I didn't even think about that. I always forget to repurpose things. Oh, cheapy from Walmart. Hey, whatever works. I had a round tablecloth that I bought from a thrift store that was Christmas themed, and I turned it into a circle skirt. But I always felt like I was wearing a tablecloth, so it was really hard for me to wear it. And I honestly didn't wear it enough. Okay, so I have stitched the 2 side fronts to my center front. And now I am going to stitch my waistband onto the bottom. Once you have a block, you can go through learn how. Oh yeah, Closet Historians page and learn to. Also Morgan Donner. Oh, I love Morgan Donner. My daughter, I don't know if you saw Morgan Donner's video. I think it was from a couple of weeks ago where she made like ridiculous secret pants. And my daughter, like all the other teenagers, is like obsessed with 90s fashion and wants raver pants. So I showed that video to her. She liked it, but she did say that the legs were a little bit too full. But yeah, I like Morgan's style a lot. I do like Renaissance fairs during the summers with my family, but the only person that I have made an outfit for, well, actually 2. I made one for my stepson, and then I made a couple for my daughter. But yeah, I definitely want to get more into historical costuming. There's a decent bunch of us in the Seattle area, and I discovered them after COVID, so I haven't had a chance to hang out with them in person yet. But hopefully things will settle down soon. We shall see. So right now I am attaching the waistband to the front of the bodice. And so far, all of the alterations that I did earlier have not changed the length of the pattern pieces. So I think I did something right. We'll see when I actually try it on. I'm using black thread this time just because it was already in my sewing machine. Costuming drama is in the West Coast. There is a gal who would often appear with Abby Cox who just moved up your way. Oh, costuming drama. Okay, yeah. She does a lot of the like 10 questions or 20 questions. I've seen a couple of her videos. And then Lady Rebecca, I think is it Designs or Fashions. She is actually like 15 minutes away from me, and she was one of the people that dressed up like a holiday Barbie with our group at Emerald City Comic Con. Yeah, it sounds like we watched the same YouTubes. That's all right. I like the recommendations. Yeah, Lady Rebecca is pretty cool. She's done some really good wig work, very impressive. And her holiday Barbie in person, oh my goodness, it was beautiful. And we were the only two Barbies that were wearing predominantly gold dresses, so we got photographed a lot. And Lady Rebecca and I were actually in Emerald City Comic Con's like video. They took pictures of us like twirling around and laughing and stuff. It was a lot of fun. Oh, congrats! Losing 100 pounds? Yeah, I bet you would want to make your own clothes. Treat yourself. Congratulations on taking care of your body. Oh, was that which dress was that? Which dress changed colors? Was it the gold one, or was this she's made a lot of dresses. I follow her. I just haven't had time to keep up with all of my YouTubing. Work has been like crazy busy. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad you are taking care of yourself. It's amazing what, health ailments can do for your just like overall mental well-being and just everything. So I'm glad things are improving. Oh, the gold Barbie. Yeah. So I wonder if it was just the lighting at ECC maybe. I'd have to look. We both used gold lame fabric, so I'll have to look at her video. I haven't seen her video yet. And she is like prolific with how much she makes and how many videos she does. I definitely wouldn't be able to keep up. And I obviously am not making this like making YouTube or do anything to like make money. I just thought that I don't know, there just hasn't been a lot of resources of folks like doing pattern alterations and things for the styles that I was going after. So I figured if I was going to do it, I might as well film it and share it. Oh, okay. At least somebody's. I'll have to watch that video later. So I have sewn the side front and added the waistband. So I need to, I don't know if you were here, but I was super eager and I ripped my muslin because I pre-washed it and made it super delicate. So I'm going to have to zigzag these together, and then I will have to sew the front to the back and then insert the seam, or insert the sleeve. There are not a lot of folks doing the work. Yeah, it's so weird. Like they just want to show the finished product, and I get it's just for a different, different audience. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of nerd out over like pattern alterations and stuff, and you can always learn something new. I don't think I'm teaching anything new, but yeah, I've been having fun with it when I have time. Oh, see, I haven't even started watching Nigerian ladies. I know there's a couple folks on YouTube. So if you have any channel recommendations, let me know. I can add them to my subscription list. Oh yeah, I think Maxie is just so. I love her stuff too. I think she's just still so learning and you know, trying to find that balance of still being entertaining and not completely DIY. But yeah, I do enjoy watching her stuff. And then I watched her room tour, her new house tour. Oh, her new house is amazing. Billicus has some great videos on direct tape drafting. Okay, all right. I'm going to Billicus. I'm going to copy that. Billicus, B-I-L. Okay, Billy Keys, maybe. I'm probably butchering the name. B-I-L-I-K-I. Okay, found her. Thank you. Oh, Magvivi. Okay, I will add that too. Magvivi. Oh, dude, corset pattern? Thank you. That'll be definitely one I use. Okay, so I am going to attach the front to the back at the shoulder seam. Can't be very entertaining. I definitely need a better camera setup so I can put over next to my sewing machine. It would shake a little bit though, so I'm not sure. I'll figure it out. Okay. I was hoping I'd be a little bit further along, but that's all right. My plan is to finish the mock-up and pattern alterations today and also cut all of the fabric. So we'll see what happens. Have I done corsets and bras? So I did take a bra making class when I was younger and my boobs weren't as large, and it worked out okay. But it was kind of clunky to find a good fit. However, the bodice of the holiday Barbie dress I just made, I used the Landis bodice from Gertie's pattern, the Charm Patterns, or whatever her Patreon is called. And that worked really well. So I'm not 100% there, but I think if I keep modifying that, it will be like a good corset pattern or anything that I can use, because I used like spiral steels and it was pretty close fitting. I think it was just a little bit too long, like in the waist, because it kept wanting to bunch up a little bit. But I do want to make like I haven't made any like historical corsets. And I haven't made, you know, like your full-on undergarment corset yet. I do have a couple of patterns, I just haven't done it yet. about you? Have you made any corsets or bras? You can use your fabulous blocks. Oh, I hear ya. Yeah, because it's like the straps or the underwires dig in. So a corset, if you've got it right, like the fit long, like a long line corset, that could be really comfortable. And then I maybe would get rid of, like, I always have, like, you know, the folds of skin underneath my bra, even though I need it to be that tight to support. A corset, like, or a long line corset would probably get rid of that too. I know, right? Why do we intimidate ourselves? Like with the amount of stuff we've already done, it's like, you know, we're capable. We might hit some roadblocks, but it's the same way with like my embroidery. I have an embroidery attachment to this, and I'm always kind of afraid to do it. And it's like all it would be is like lost fabric and time. Like, yeah. If only we could be our own cheerleaders, right? All right, so I got one side attached. Oh yeah, having them too tight. I know some folks have had like developed like sores and stuff depending on how tight their bras are. I think that's why bralettes are coming back, you know, because it's like folks don't want all of that. And my daughter wears primarily sports bras because she doesn't want to be uncomfortable. Sorry if you can hear my cat, apologies. I just don't want her in right now. Now, do you have any animals? Mine like invade my my sewing room all the time. I think a lot of us cannot find what fits right at a price we can afford. That's for sure. Well, and then I've been talking to my husband. Like my husband has been trying to find like his favorite socks that used to be 100% cotton, and even like his Levi pants. Like he wants 100% cotton, and everything is blend now. And I've been telling him like it's like pre-recession, post-recession. It's like they keep undercutting the quality. You know, and I don't think they've been really adjusting the price. It's really difficult to see like what is actual quality now, unless you know you go to some like ridiculous store and you know pay out the nose for it. 8 cats. I like it. We have 4. I wouldn't mind 1 or 2 more, but or not 4. We have 3, but I think 3 is good enough. One of these days we might get a dog. We'll see. Okay, so I have finished putting the front to the back, and now I'm going to inset my sleeve. So as soon as this sleeve is inserted, then I can try this on again and see if the alterations I did will actually work. The pattern as drafted from sewist.com, it was close enough, but the shoulders were a little bit too wide, and there was still a little bit of fullness here, so I think I needed to just kind of adjust where my fullness sat in the pattern. So I adjusted that, and we'll see if that helped or hurt. Okay. See, I may have messed with the arm's eye a little bit when I was trying to match up the adjustment I did on the front, but we shall see. It's amazing how long things actually take, you know, because I usually will just like film bits and pieces and upload a video. And, you know, what looks like takes 30 seconds is like an hour. Let's see. I don't do sleeves that way. No, but I worked at a shirt factory. They put the sleeves on with the side seam open and then they close the side. Yeah, I usually will do that as well. Like I won't set it in the round unless there's ease in the, you know, if there's like a little bit of ease or I don't know, a little puff to it. I guess I could try doing that flat. I haven't had any luck with that. Maybe I just need to practice a little bit more. Oh, doing that makes the garment move differently. The side does not rise when you lift your arms. Interesting. Yeah, and I bet there's probably a little bit more mobility as well, even though there shouldn't be, right? And I use like way too many pins, but it works, right? Whatever works. Okay, yeah. You don't know why, but it just does, right? That's like baking. The factory I worked in made expensive men's shirts. Yeah, I bet, because you know you're kind of close to New York, so there would be a market for it. I didn't realize they had a lot of garment factories in the Pennsylvania area, but I mean, it makes sense. They've got factories everywhere, right? Definitely do not know enough about the East Coast. I bet with because you worked in the factory, that's probably why you prefer you know, like the more durable seam finishes. Like, you know, this French seam is very similar to like the flat felt that might be used in some men's garments. Oh, they closed. Oh, bummer. Yeah, I know a lot of factories have closed. There's still a decent amount of them, you know, down in Southern California. There's actually one or two near Portland as well. I just haven't had a reason to check them out. make sense though if there was like a garment factory in Pennsylvania, because I know there's quite a few dead stock fabric suppliers because they're kind of close to New York. So it makes sense that they had garment factories up there. All right. Oh, I know. Yeah, there are a couple of garment. Well, I don't know if they're like large scale manufacturers, but I knew there are some garment manufacturers in Portland, and I know there's a bunch in the garment district in LA. Nothing near here, which would explain why we don't have a lot of like dead stock fabric suppliers. Yeah, we are not importing dead stock, right? We wouldn't want to pay the money for that. Okay, I'm going to try to move you again. We'll see if I'm successful. Okay, all right. So I am wearing a like a tight fitted knit Nico top. So I usually will try on my my mock-ups just over my undergarments, but this should be enough. It won't add too much bulk. So right now I'm going to slip this on, and I did have to zigzag my sleeve back together because I was super aggressive with ripping it open. But you have a point about, oh, okay, yeah. Oh my gosh. Forgot about my headband. I was thinking I would have all of my pattern alterations and the mock-up and everything done by like an hour, hour and a half, right? But yeah, that is not the case. All right, let's see. I think that's a little bit better. Oh, I'm kind of staring at my other, there we go. Oh, oh, this tripod. That's good enough. All right, we'll see how this looks. Well, I did 30 plus minutes fighting with one seam today. Oh my gosh, I know. I probably spent a good 20 minutes of this live stream just unpicking the seams because I had decided to use a 2.5 seam length, like stitch length. I don't know why I didn't adjust it. Okay. Haha. Ooh, it's so, I'm calling it good enough. I think so that'll be perfect. So you didn't see where I started, but there was like a huge, I removed like an inch of fullness, very similar to where that is, but I'm going to leave that there. Let me see if I can put my pattern up. I know I'm pretty happy with it. So I don't think I'm going to make another, okay, another mock-up version. Hold on. Can I, let's see. Okay. If I back up, maybe if I push it back. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, I think the sleeve could be poofier for the design, but I'm calling it good. And then I could make it fit a little bit tighter. What I think I might do is I'm going to add some side ties, and then as my weight fluctuates, I can tighten it or loosen it. But yeah, I think this looks pretty good. Yeah, the back I can make, but I mean, it's vintage, so it doesn't need to be skin tight. Perfect. Okay. I think I'm ready to cut it out of my vintage fabric. I seriously procrastinated on working on this mock-up. Will you have trim along the princess lines? Yes. Hold on. I've got to look at my my inspiration. I bought like 25 yards of trim for it, but I don't know if it's anything on the bodice or if it's just in the skirt. Okay, yeah, there is. Yeah, okay. So it will be, can you see? Let me see if I can zoom in real quick. So there is, sorry, my ring light. You can see the lace inserted all the way along down the front. And then it's, yeah, I got these pictures from Bison by Hand, and she's a vintage seller, and she said that I could use her pictures to recreate it because the dress itself, I think it's like $1,000. And of course it's like a size, present day 6. I don't know if you can see, there's trim on the sides of the zippers for the sleeves and then also along the exposed facing. Sweet. That's my happy dance, sorry. Okay, so I'm super excited. I had never done a like a full bust adjustment like pivot and like a princess seam before, so I'm really excited. Super excited. I love it when it works out, when you have no idea for sure. Okay. So what do I cut out first? Let's just cut out the front bodice. Okay, and then I can show you, I'm not sure if you saw the video or not, where so I made a video of going through sewist.com and like all of the little design elements I added. So here's the trim that I'm going to be adding. It will be great. Thank you. I can hear your enthusiasm through the chat. Okay, so this is the solid fabric. It's just a Kona quilting cotton. Like a linen look fabric would have been better, but I just couldn't find anything the color I liked. And then I have glitter all over my sewing room from my holiday Barbie. I keep finding it everywhere. But this is the, is this right? Yeah, it's right side up. This is the fabric I'm going to use. So it's very colonial. It's very 1970s. So I'm thinking it was probably issued around the bicentennial. But yeah, I'm excited. As you can tell by my grin, right? Okay, dude, that's something I would seriously say, right? Yeah, I bought this from another person who collects gunny sacks and also does gunny sacks inspired dresses. And she's like, she wanted to recreate the black label that I'm recreating, and she never got around to it. And she was like, I'm just going to sell this. So yeah, I lucked out. I was like, this is exactly what I'm going to make with it. And she was excited for me because she's like, oh, I'm so glad someone's making what I finally making what I wanted to make. So yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like seriously, Americana, right? But I think it'll work really wonderfully. And then so it's not like full on red, but it's good enough. I'm going to use it as an excuse. That's why I did the little red dress project. So it's like, I might as well just make it. It'll push me to get it done. And then Gunny Sacksmith, right? But this is also something that I can wear at the Renaissance Fair. I wore my my maxi length black and white one to the Renaissance Fair this year, and it was very boobtastic. It is the Americana, but also looks like those old French. Yeah, right. I could not. I looked to see if I could buy like fabric similar, like colorway. I think, what do they call it? Toile de joie, I think is what they call the fabric. And I tried to find one with this color, and all I could find was like upholstery weight fabric, and that would not work. Because I loved this kind of rust color. They have it in like blue tones. I couldn't find anything in green. I just didn't want blue. So right now I'm just looking on my phone to make sure I'm cutting it out. So I'm going to cut out the side fronts and my waistband pieces. I really hope I have enough of this fabric. We'll see. Yeah, so we're at almost the 2-hour mark and I'm finally cutting out my fabric. So I'm thinking I can probably cut out all my fabric in the next hour or two. And then tomorrow I'll probably do another live stream where I just sew the dress together. So what color fleece are you using? Those blankets, what color are they for the robes you're making your mom? Are you gonna have bits of black fluff everywhere? I guess fleece isn't as bad. Minky is worse. Okay, 6 3/8. I am one of those people that still measures out their grain lines. And this fabric is definitely directional, so I will have to remember that. Okay. One is red with snowflakes and the other is rainbow tie-dye. Yeah. But my pattern pieces are over here. Okay. One is cheetah print with black minky maybe fluff all over my house. Yep. I hear ya. I made a like white fur shrug to wear with my Barbie dress. And I mean, I did, you know, like your basic shrug where it's just a rectangle and you stitch it. And I still got fluff everywhere. The last one is for her to give to her friend, and it's kitten prints with navy bands. See, that's one thing I love about sewing is that you can like use any kind of fabric. Like there aren't a lot of kitten robes out there, you know? You're always stuck with like solid colors or plaid or something super boring. And I'm going to keep every single little scrap of this fabric just in case I need to piece something. I hope I don't have to, but we shall see. All right. Okay. So side front is cut out. And this is, I'm cutting out the waistband right now. So this is the Empire waistband part. Do you call making your clothes costuming? No, I think like my gunny sex dresses and stuff, I wouldn't consider that costuming because I wear it every day. My husband probably doesn't want me like for date nights and stuff. I wear my gunny sex dresses. I feel like a princess. Like, yeah, I'm gonna wear that. But like my I don't know, have I done costumes? I think most of my stuff I've made on the channel is my Gunny Sacks inspired dresses, but I do make costumes. I made a my holiday Barbie. I would definitely consider a costume. I made a wrap dress to look like Daphne from Scooby Doo. I might be able to wear that as everyday clothes, but I don't know. And then like I made my daughter a Pennywise costume. Like I think those are definitely what I would consider costuming. But my day-to-day gunny sacks dresses, I wouldn't consider that a costume. I just think it's fun. Why not have fun with what you're wearing? Is your waistband empire? You look like you had more of a top section of that. So I wouldn't consider it a full umpire, but my boobs are so big that like for a full umpire, it would be like, you know, cutting me across. So it is as high as I can while still covering like the major without like the seam line bisecting me. Funny. But the black label is definitely more umpire than the or the empire or whatever, empire, whatever you want to call it. The original is definitely more than the one I'm making, but it's more of just a personal preference thing. I don't want my chest cut in half by seam lines. Okay, these are more what I think of as costumes, but I see quite a few of the girls call what they do costuming, but they wear them every day. So how is it not clothes? I know. Yeah, I guess it's just personal preference, right? Yeah, I would say personal preference. Because I make a lot of day-to-day clothes. Like this is a little bit more fancy than my day-to-day clothes, but like knit shirts. I have a video on how I've hacked two pattern pieces together to make a really good like undershirt to wear under sundresses. So I would consider that clothing or garments. Yeah, I've never really thought about it. Right. So the waistband is cut out. Oh my God, I know what you mean about the umpire in the wrong place. Yeah. It's so hard finding it to fit because, like, I mean, you would think it would be like here if you're going proportional, but it would just look super funny. So you'd got to drop it here, which is like 3.5 inches above my natural waist. And so for it to look like an umpire but not cut me in half, it's like, I don't know, like a 2/3, not a full waistline. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. Okay, so I have that done. I'm looking at my, I wear my skirts, which is make, oh, you wear your walking skirts daily? Yeah, I like skirts. I just I don't pull them out of my closet very often. I wear them, I wear peasant tops all the time or as chemises. Yeah, I need to make some peasant tops. I've got a couple like ready to wear I bought in, but again, I just don't wear them very often. And so I guess that would be kind of where I would see the line of like day to day versus costuming. I'm just looking at my inspiration picture again. Okay, so I have cut out the side fronts and the waistband. I need to cut out. I think I'm going to hold off on cutting out the back just in case I'm running short of fabric. I shouldn't. I think I measured this. I think I should have enough, but I'm paranoid. Someone told me that for large busted women to wear umpire lines, it needs to be at the high bust line. Oh, what the? Yeah, no. I do not agree with that statement. I think that would look super funky, but if somebody likes it, thinks it looks good, more power to them. Just wouldn't be something I would rock. Okay, I've got scraps of pattern paper everywhere from alterations I did earlier. Okay. What should I cut out next? And it would end up making the person, yeah. I made the same face. You mean extremely good looking face? And I would have, empire lines are one of those things. It's really hard to pull off when you've got you know, a larger bust. But I think this is kind of a happy medium. I think it'll be close enough, you know, more of like a nod to rather than a straight, like full on one-to-one match. I'm just moving my tape dispenser so I can lay out my fabric a little bit. So I'm going to cut out my my center front, and then I'm trying to figure out what I did with the tiny waistband piece. Oh, it's right here. Perfect. Okay. No, I don't think so, face. Yeah. I think if the mock-up is any indication, you will be fine. It looked good. Thank you. Thank you for joining my live stream, by the way. This is, I think, the second live stream I've done. So I'm still learning. And I just haven't had time. Like, I love having this interaction. I just haven't had time to like edit videos. I have 2 that are pretty much filmed, and I just haven't been able to sit down and edit. Like, editing takes most of the time, and I really do enjoy editing. It's just I haven't had the time for it lately. Yeah, I bought this this Kona cotton from my local quilting store, but she also sells garment fabrics, but definitely not as much as quilting fabric. And got to support your local fabric business. And I'm one of those people that I probably could be less strategic with my cutting out, but what is the deal with Kona? I think it's just because it comes in so many colors. You know, it's almost like DMC embroidery cloth, like floss. You know, you'll know what you're looking for because of the, you know, it's just pretty widely available. I'm not impressed by the Kona cotton quality. I feel like it used to be better, but I mainly chose it because of the color. We have none here. I buy online or from Walmart. They do have really good remnants sometimes. I know for a while, this was back when I was still in California, all the Walmarts kept like getting rid of their fabric. But I'm glad they're bringing it back. Until I listen to this station. It's all instrumental and the melodies are familiar. So right now I just have a tiny little fold flap of this this red orange fabric, and I'm cutting out the center front and the little waistband portion. You must live in a pretty rural area. Again, I'm not very familiar with the East Coast. If you've got to order online in Walmart, it's so hard to, you know, depend solely on online fabric, because there's, especially if it's like a new substrate or color, you know, you're kind of taking a gamble when you order online. And hopefully, depending on the online store, their description is accurate, which is not always the case. Oh, less than 900 people. Oh, man. I love little towns like that. Yeah, my parents grew up in like the rural area of Northern California, outside of like Redding and like Chico and Sacramento. So definitely, I mean, when I say small towns, I'm thinking of like, you know, 5,000. But Kaufman brand is not bad. I have not tried it. But hey, at least it sounds like you got good internet all the way out there. Sometimes that can be difficult when you're from a smaller area. I get some linen blend, that brand. It's really nice, and some flannel. Oh, I have used Mammoth flannel from Kaufman. I made my daughter a flannel shirt, which I have a video of. Yeah, I guess I have. That's a video I have. My daughter wanted some clothes for back to school, so I made her a pair of pants and a turtleneck and a flannel shirt. Okay, so I have cut out all of the waistband pieces and all of the front pieces. So I think before I cut, I think I'm just being overly cautious with my fabric. I bet there's going to be enough. There should be. I think I'm just going to go with it. I got internet from the cable company. The others were not bad. Okay. That's been my biggest concern. I mean, obviously, with the jobs I've had, you'd have to be close to the city, but in like rural areas, I'd always worry about, internet access or like being close to like stores and medical facilities and stuff. But I've always wanted to live kind of a little bit out in the country, a little less light pollution, less traffic. Definitely not going to worry about pattern matching. I'm way too excited about sewing this up. I have been dreaming about making this dress since I got obsessed with gunny sack dresses last spring. It's like almost a year of obsessing over this dress. Oh, I'm considerably older. You never know. You never know. Okay, so 13 and a half. But hey, good on you for like embracing like YouTube and all of these other creators. I know my extended older family members are a little bit resistant about exploring other avenues of entertainment. I have been, okay, they are pretty. I remember when they were in stores. Oh, yeah, my mom was a teenager in the 70s, and she couldn't afford gunny sack dresses, so she wasn't able to get any of them. But my grandmother actually sewed some for my aunts. So some of the patterns I've used in my other videos are actually ones from her collection because they couldn't afford gunny sack dresses either, and they just made them. And so now I'm using the same patterns that she used. Oh, no one could even back then, I bet. Which, it really surprises me when, so one of my videos is of me getting like all nerdy over one of my friend's dresses. She lent it to me, and I was like taking measurements and looking at, what kind of fabric was used. And it was like poly cotton, it wasn't like expensive fabric. Even back then, I know, like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out why it was so expensive. Probably just because of the name and less the materials. It was such a bummer too because they they only went up to what, like a junior 13, so that would have been, even at my skinniest, I probably wouldn't have been able to wear that, especially not with my bust. The name, yeah, the name brand. Well, they can keep that name. Well, they're no longer operating, but and the idea of them, yeah. Because I was born and raised in Northern California, and so Gunny Sacks was based out of San Francisco, and so in high school, like I sewed during high school, and one of my girlfriends went to the was it Jessica McClintock is kind of what Gunny Sacks spilled into, went to the factory store and bought her prom dress, but they had like dead stock and remnants and stuff. So I've gone to the factory store that isn't really a factory store for Gunny Sacks anymore, but I have gone there before, and it was local to me. And it's kind of a shame that I wasn't around during their heyday and I could go to the factory store back in the 70s, right? Okay. So that is cut out. So since you were around the first time it came around, what are your thoughts on all of the kids my daughter's age? So these are like the 12 to 17-year-olds all dressing up in grunge, like back those popular in the 90s with like the plaid shirts and the oversized. I am not a fan. I think it looks a little unkempt, but what are your thoughts on that fashion coming back? I wasn't a fan when it originally was out. I'm not a fan of it now. Okay, I keep swapping between my fabric. I'm going to cut out the back exposed facing. And then I do have facing pieces for the bodice that I'm going to cut out, probably out of muslin, and I'll probably regret that later. But I don't want anything too heavy and I don't want it to show through. But I also don't want to use up that vintage fabric, because I might be running short. So we'll see. If I have enough, I will use the vintage fabric. If I don't, I will probably be using a cross between muslin and this red fabric. All right. And I have a custom built cutting table that I use for all of my cutting. It is 2 IKEA like tabletops with 8 adjustable IKEA legs, and it comes up to probably my high hip, just because I'm almost 5'10" and my legs are super long. So basic tables aren't comfortable for me for cutting out. I think if you do like costuming drama, to make a grunge plaid chemise a la Reine, and that works. Other than that, I agree, it looks unkempt. And that I haven't seen that one. I'm so behind in my my videos. Yeah, my daughter is like all into like the holy jeans and everything, and yeah. And then the holes become bigger, and then she wants me to fix them, but she doesn't want to patch them. So how do you fix holes? I need to probably just zigzag the edges and maybe put some knit interfacing and then zigzag so it reinforces it. I don't know. Kids, man. It takes me forever to cut out because I try to do everything single layer when possible. Oh my, that's smart. That is really smart. So you're, I don't know, when I think of chest freezers, I always think of, they've got that bobbly texture. So yours must be like a flat surface, because I can imagine just like a little bobbly surface. But do you use a rotary cutter or do you use scissors? I was just going to say stay stitch the edges. Yeah, I will. You have no room. Yeah. Yeah, we moved from Northern California to the state of Washington because we could not afford to live in California anymore. And so We live probably like a half an hour to 45 minutes without traffic away from Seattle. And we did so, even though most of the jobs are in Seattle, because I wanted a house big enough to where I would have a dedicated sewing room. So I'm lucky that I have the largest bedroom in the house that is my sewing room. And then my husband has the rec room for all of his games and gym equipment. So it works out nicely. It's bobbly and icky. I use both. Okay, yeah. It's good enough though, right? It gets the job done. Okay. So I've cut out the back facing, and then I'm going to cut out my cuffs now, and I have to cut out 8 of them because of the zipper. So since this is a solid and it is cotton, I'm probably going to try to cut out a lot all at once. We'll see if I regret that later. Yeah, my mom used to, when we had a smaller house, she used to cut out all of her fabric on carpet with scissors. And that was interesting. We were always accidentally like getting the fabric on it. And then she would use butter knives as pattern weights. Yes, love. Why? Am I dragging down the internet? What do you need?
To go places.
Okay. Well, I'm cutting out now, and then we can go after I cut out. Okay. She has friends over. They're doing a sleepover, but they want to go out and get some boba and go to the bookstore. So I'm gonna have to parent in a little bit. But I think probably another half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe I'll be done cutting out. I'm talking, so it's going to take longer, but I'm definitely not a fast cutout person. Like I would not be able to survive like Great British Sewing Bee or like Project One Runway. Nope. I deal with enough stress on my day-to-day job. I would not want to be stressed out on TV. And then my local quilt shop and garment shop had it was kind of like a contest. So it was I do it every first Friday, sewing throwdown, and we have like 2 hours to make something. Mine did not go well. I tried to make a top, but it was like, because I don't know how to pattern draft, but hopefully I will once I look at those channels. So I ended up making like a woven tube top with, yeah, it didn't look great. Hey, there's 6 people watching. Welcome. Feel free to put anything in the chat. I'm probably spending more time talking than I am actually sewing, but welcome. Join the party. And yes, this is what I consider a good party in my sewing room on a Saturday night. Making stuff. This is definitely my happy place. Like whenever it's my birthday or I want to celebrate something, I will take time off and just hang out in my sewing room. And there is a retreat space that Style Maker Fabrics does, where you can actually rent it, the entire house, and they've got an entire making space. So depending on what happens in the outside world, me and some friends might be using that later this year. That'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so I have 4 cuff pieces cut out, but I need 8 total. And I think with the way I just cut, I might be able to, I don't know, I probably should only cut out 2 to 4 at one time and not, sorry, my nose is itching, and not all 8 at once. Did you post a video on you at the con? No, I haven't. Emerald City Comic Con, like Reed Pop, they did a video of what happened on Friday, like what was like on the Friday of that, and we were on there. But I do want to make a video about it. And she's fairly local to me, so I'm hoping that maybe for future cons we can work together again. It was a lot of fun. She does she has like a Facebook group, like I think I forget what it's called, but she has a Facebook group where you know, folks can get together in costume, but I'm not on Facebook much, so I haven't been able to stay on top of it. Okay. I'm trying to like strategically puzzle piece all of my cuffs, and I've got tons of fabric. I don't know why I do that. And it had so much time to my cutting out. Like I don't ever just fold it in half and cut it. I always like work my way down. I end up always having way too much fabric left over, but I've had to go the other way. So do what you gotta do. Okay, I think this will be good, and I will have 4 pieces. Perfect. Yeah, it was Emerald City Comic Con was a lot of fun. 1, 2. I think I'm only gonna have 3 pieces cut out. Let's change the way I did this. But I do know a lot of folks that went to the con that have actually gotten sick. So I don't know if I'll be doing too many more this year. We'll see what really happens in the world, right? Just super sad that things haven't opened up yet. I don't want to waste mine either. I try to use all the scraps. Right now I have fleece bits everywhere. So yeah, so I had tons of fleece left over from the pajama pants that my kiddo loves. And I just didn't know what to do with them. And so I just cut a whole bunch of, I think 5-inch squares to make a future like fleece quilts. I haven't. It's just sitting in a box somewhere, but if I ever do in the future, I will have them. Sick is not good. I'm glad you and Rebecca are okay. Yeah. Well, we only took off our masks when we were outside, but everyone in our group was vaccinated, and there was lots of wind, so we had the airflow, and we just did it for those pictures. But majority of the time, we did have our masks on, so I think we're okay. Okay, so all of my cuffs are cut out. I should have 8 pieces. The squares are a good idea. You can make a large piece of fabric and make a... Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I have all of the pieces cut out for my cuff. All right, so I need my sleeve out of the Americana fabric. And my weights are probably loud, apologies. Right now I have 2 of these giant sleeves to cut out, which it looks like a huge pattern piece, but you saw when I was wearing it, it's not that big. Yeah, I think I will have enough fabric. I'm just probably being a little more conservative than I need to be. How is the robe sewing? Any of them done yet? Or are you still just cutting them out? I have faith in you. I think you're going to get one done tonight. The sleeves are weird. When you knit them too, they always look too big. Yeah. Oh, so you knit as well. Awesome. I've only made like 2 successful garments. Definitely need to knit more, but it's just so hard. Like sewing is just so much more of an instant gratification, right? I have them almost done. I am finishing up the sleeve cuffs while talking to you. Awesome. Trying to measure my grain line. Okay, good enough. I spin, I knit, crochet, weave, sew now. Oh, and do beadwork. I have been crafting since I was a baby. Your stash must be pretty impressive. I have not learned how to crochet yet, and I do not bead, and I do not weave. I do not spin. So you definitely win when it comes to skills. That's one thing I kind of wish my daughter was more into like textile crafts, but she is really into painting, which is great because I don't have that skill. And she does do some beading, but she does a lot more painting and playing her guitars than anything else. And I did try to teach her how to sew, and I wasn't a very good teacher. It is odd what you learn about one thing that affects the others. Yeah. I hear you about craft supplies. Oh man. I was thinking, oh, I'll buy a 5x5 IKEA Calyx unit. I'm never going to fill that up. I'm going to have all this extra space. Oh, no. I filled that out like over like a year ago. I filled up, if not longer. And I keep buying more. And underneath my cutting table is full. I definitely need to go through and do some stash busting. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff that I buy. Like I was Fabric Mart Fabrics gets me into trouble. They have this program called Julie's Picks, and they send you a whole bunch of swatches every month. And so I was a member of that for like 2 years, and so I'd always buy it. I still have tons of it. And then they also have like a mystery fabric, spend like $25 and get 10 yards of fabric. Done. And then, of course, it's not stuff that you would have picked out, so it just sits in your stash. I am being better. I don't do that anymore. Okay, I need to cut out my other sleeve. I think I will have enough fabric. I don't think it's going to be an issue. I might piece together my front lower ruffle just because it's gathered. It won't be as noticeable, and then I don't have to use up any of my my big chunks of fabric. Can you use some of those for linings? Oh, the little offcuts? I think so, maybe. Oh, some of the stuff that I bought from Fabromar Fabrics. Yes, some of it I will use for linings. Some of it is like heavyweight or it's like a knit. And so then it's like muslin fodder. So it does have a purpose, but it comes to, like having my stash be all things beautiful, it's less so. So you're watching anything good on TV right now? I have a hard time watching new shows because I get sidetracked and just sit there when I'd rather just be very productive with my time. So my husband's a big fan of The Witcher, and it came out on Netflix last night, but I would rather hang out in my sewing room and make something than sit around and watch TV. It drives him crazy. I used to be more into video games as well, but I don't know. Again, I just feel like I could be more productive with my time. Yeah. I don't watch TV, right? Well, see, there we go. We don't have time to watch TV. We're too busy making things. Okay, 12 in. A heck of a time getting my grain line on these. It's just an odd cut piece. Oh, you like video games too? Cool. Yeah, my mom and I play Animal Crossing quite a bit. I love that game. It's a nice little break. Not stressful. You can shake the trees and grab fruit, redecorate your house. Okay, one. I did see the Marvel movie, sort of. They run in the background while I sew, spin, knit. Yeah, I've only seen, I think, like 2 or 3 of the Marvel movies. But my next big costume is going to be Jeff Goldblum's character from Thor Ragnarok is the Grand Master. That is going to be my next big build because Jeff Goldblum is adorable. And then I've seen, I think, 2 of the Captain America ones and like 1 of the Avenger movies, but I don't know, I think Star Wars is more of my jam than Marvel. Okay, close enough. Yeah, I like watching the same things over and over again while I sew. So like the Harry Potter movies, like TV shows I've watched before, like Bones. Really like that show. Yeah. And then that way I don't get too distracted by what's going on the screen. And then occasionally I'll listen to. I am more of a Harry Potter person. Yeah. Yeah, it's disappointing how divisive that community has had to turn into with everything the author is doing, but I understand. Yeah, actually, like Harry Potter came out, or at least it was wrapping up its run when I was in the military, so I never really got into it until I was older. Like, I think I hadn't even seen all of the movies until like 5-6 years ago as well. But I like listening to the audiobooks, the Harry Potter audiobooks while I sew. Just because I'm comforted and I know what's going to happen, so I don't get too distracted. There's a group on Ravelry that is structured around Harry Potter. That does not surprise me. One of my successful knits was a Weasley sweater, and I usually would wear it around the holidays, and then it got caught on like a hook, from like a hook and eye, and I've got a giant like snag out of the front of the sweater, and I do not know how to fix it. So probably next couple of weeks I'm gonna have to figure out how to repair that giant snag. But I do have the Harry Potter, the first Harry Potter knitting book, and that's where the Weasley sweater pattern came from. And then there's also one that has like it's almost like, it's like cabled yoke gray sweater. I want to make that. I've got the yarn for it. I just don't have the time to make it. Okay. I have cut out all of the top part. So now I need to cut out the bottom front ruffle. So let me grab all of my skirt pieces. Yeah, it was a good thing you weren't here last Friday. I think her name was Michelle. There was another lady who's in the chat, and she helped me like fix so many of my mistakes while I was drafting. Definitely took time. I think it was almost a 3-hour stream, and it was just me doing pattern alterations to make the base pattern look more like the Gunny Sacks one. Trace back the stitches near to where the pull is. Once you know which ones are not the right size anymore, you can wiggle the yarn to resize them. Do I wiggle with like the knitting needle to pull it right? Or do I just kind of like stretch it? I need to, obviously it's a skill I'm still learning. All right. There should be another pattern piece. That is the back upper skirt. This is the front skirt, but there should be another skirt piece. It was on the ground. Okay, so this needs to be cut out of red, but the bottom ruffle needs to be cut out of their Americana. And I'm going to cut 8 inches by 17. I did the math all in my in the prior one. Let's see if I can piece some of this together. I think so. I think I'll be able to piece this to make my bottom ruffle, so that'll be good. To wake up my iron. So I'm going to press some of these, the offcuts, so I can make sure that like it'll line up when I piece the bottom tier ruffle. To wait for my iron to heat up again. I love auto shut off because I don't have to worry about if I left the iron on, but I also don't like it because it takes forever for it to warm back up. That's fine. So I only need to cut out one skirt piece out of the red, and that's that the center front. But I will use the red for the side ties that I'm adding. That would help. I turned my steam off because I was ironing pattern pieces. So do you follow Sean of Kittenish Behavior? She was like my gateway sewist. I found her and then I found everyone else with the knitting needle. You do it slowly, pulling a bit of the long yarn into the stitch next to the long one, then again and again and again until the stitches are about the same size. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's a long string. It's going to take some wiggling. It's a bummer too, because that's the only like true successful knit I've had. Because I was self-taught and I accidentally was like twisting all of my yarn and didn't realize it. So I made a beanie with all the yarn twisted. I made a an infinity scarf with all the yarn twisted, and then I made a cabled cardigan with all the yarn twisted. And then it kind of like broke my heart. I needed to take a break. But I do, if I wasn't like really into sewing right now, I do like taking my knitting, and my husband and I will go to like the local bar and I'll sit there with my knitting. And then we've got an Irish pub that we like going to too. So sometimes I bring my knitting, and the owner's just like, "Oh, my mom knits. You guys would love each other." Husband just laughs. He's like, "Oh my gosh." It takes a bit, but is worth it if the sweater is really nice. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't spend a lot of money on my yarn because I can't really afford to. I don't want to spend like $150 on yarn when I'm still learning. But it is nice knit. I like the sweater. What do you mean the yarn twisted? So instead of so it's like instead of it making the perfect U, it like crosses over because I was knitting like I was knitting like I was purling. So it was like I was purling from the back, and so instead of it like looping properly when I twisted, it was like it would twist. I don't know how to explain it. Like my stitch wasn't making a loop. It was making a cross, like it was like it had a little twist to it. I don't know how to explain it. And there is a stitch that you do where it's supposed to be intentional, but I was doing it wrong. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. And I frogged that whole sweater, so I can't show you. But it was just kind of like I was trying to purl my knit stitches. So I was like pulling it, and it wasn't making making the loop appropriately. Yes, Russian twisted knitting. Okay. So I knew what I was doing. I was just using the wrong technique in the wrong place. I mean, it looked pretty, but like none of the cables turned out. It was sad. And then what's worse too is because I stitched so much like that, like if it's been a while since I've knitted, like my hands revert to that motion. So I have to really think about it if I pick up my knitting after it's been a while. Again, and it has its own properties and looks cool. It did look cool, and because I was like purling correctly, I was still able to, like the fabric was still able to perform, but I just didn't like the look of it until like I didn't realize that I didn't like the look of it until I saw it. Like, oh, that's what knitting's supposed to look like. I like that better. All right. That works better for stockinette. The cables won't move the same. Yeah. Yeah, it was all stockinette with the majority of the stuff I made. And then that's when I realized the cables didn't look right, is because I was doing it wrong. All right. Just going to make sure this is actually going to be enough fabric if it's worth me even piecing it. Where is my ruler? There it is. Oh yeah, this will be enough. Okay, let me, I will turn my phone back on so I can see the chat. And then I will take you over again, and you'll be staring at the back of my head again. I will figure it out next time. I will, maybe I can get a longer cable for my webcam. I bet I could. That might be easier. Okay, I'm going to, okay. Bavarian knitting is all twisted. So, see, I've never even heard of Bavarian knitting. That's, I obviously am still learning my techniques. Sorry, I know you can see my mess. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, okay, I think that'll work. I have to change my thread out. Good enough. Okay, so I'm just, these are 2 offcuts. I'm just matching up the selvage edge, and I'm going to stitch them together, and then I'm going to cut out my, the ruffle that's going to go on the bottom of the red center portion of the front. Just because I have, I'm just so worried about running out of fabric out of that, with that pasture fabric. Okay, good. Yeah, I actually have, this is my primary machine. It's a B770. I got it like 3 years ago, I think. And then the Brother Serger I got, I think April or May of the pandemic. I have a cover stitch machine. I have used it occasionally. It's just, I find that just doing a slight zigzag actually looks better than the cover stitch. I have a machine I take with me for like short distance, like sewing meetups, which don't happen anymore. It's like my backup machine. And then I also have my grandmother's FAF 130. I don't know. It's super heavy. It's like 25 pounds. That I used a couple months ago, but definitely not used to using it. I'm just changing out my bobbin thread. And then now the last thing I sewed before I made the mock-up, and then I did some mending. One of my turtleneck dresses, of course, bought, not made. Like all of the stitching all around the neckline was unraveling and stuff. Okay. Oh, I think this is, I bought some yarn from the thrift store, and it was all like newish yarn, so I wasn't worried about it breaking. And I thought it was Gutermann, but it's something else that just doesn't work as well. I find it breaking a bit more, but I'll use it for like sewing up mock-ups or muslins, and then right now I'm going to use it for joining these 2 scraps together. Yeah, once you make your own, yeah, I definitely agree. Once you make your own, you see how badly other things are made. And then my poor husband, like, he's trying to, he doesn't like the stuff I make him, which is, it's fine. It's like 95% of the time I'm happy with that, and then the 5% I'm bitter. But like the stuff that he wears his clothes until they die, they just like will fall apart on him because he just can't find what he likes anymore. Like just trying to find good, high quality, like 100% cotton stuff is like impossible. Most of the stuff is like all blends, and then it bobbles when I wash it, So I'm just going to, I still have this at 4.0. I'm going to drop this back to 2.5 because I am stitching a seam I want to stay. You can learn to make jeans. Yeah, I haven't done that yet. I'm still cutting out. What do you need, honey?
No, I just wanted to see if they can see me on your camera.
Yeah, they can.
No.
The world sees you, child. What do you need?
No, this is for Meta. And did it show up yet? No.
No, I can see you. People can see you. My poor teenager's like, oh my gosh, they can see me. And she's having a sleepover, and they all want to go do stuff, like go get boba and go to the bookstore. So that's where we'll be going when I'm done cutting everything out. She's just gonna have to wait. Okay, so I just seamed that. Let me move you back. This is working. I'm not able to hide my mess as much, but it's working. Yeah, it's working. Perfect. So I'm going to just press that seam open, and this is where I'm going to cut the bottom ruffle from. She is so cute. Poor girl, she just got braces this week because we were trying to wait for like the pandemic and everything to settle down, but she was already getting, she's going to be, I think, she's going to be 16. Oh my gosh. Yeah, she's going to be 16 this year. And so we wanted to get them put on so they'd be done by the time she was an adult. So she just got braces this week. So she's having a hard time like talking, and her cheeks are hurting. Poor baby. And I tell her, like, so I let her do whatever she wants with her hair. She's got pierced ears, but I let her bleach her hair and dye her hair because, I never know what she's going to do as an adult. And, some jobs have limitations on what, you can do and how you can appear. So figure if she gets it out of her system now, she maybe won't regret it if she won't be able to do it as an adult. So I let her do whatever she wants to her hair. And she's got dark brown hair, so it's definitely damaged to get it that light. Yeah, she thinks it's funny that I've got my little YouTube channel because her and her girlfriends, like they just like watch YouTube all the time. So she teases me about it. Okay, I need an 8x17 and let's do 17 1/4. So I'm going to pull this out and make a straight edge. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to log off once I cut this bottom ruffle because they're getting impatient, and I have been here on almost 3 hours. But I might finish cutting later on tonight, and then I can do a live tomorrow where I start sewing the thing because I want to get it done before optimally I'd like to get it done before tomorrow or before I go to work on Saturday, or on Monday. So we'll see. I'm just trying to do math in my head. 7, 5, 8, 3. Yeah, it'll be plenty. Okay. And my kiddo is super supportive of my hobbies. And I keep wanting to get her into it, but she's got plenty of other stuff. Like I really like her painting, and she's really into bass guitar, and so she's got it hooked up to an amp upstairs. So while I'm in here crafting, I can hear her tearing it up on her electric guitar and her bass guitar, and it's adorable. And I'm glad she's found things that she likes, you know, on her own. Like she isn't feeling like she has to force to like the same things we like. No worries. You are like the first sewing maker I have seen do live stream. It's kind of nice seeing some of the less perfect things. This is one of the good things about ours channel too. Oh, like Rachel Maxey's or Rebecca's? I don't know if Rebecca's ever shared any hiccups. I don't know. I don't watch her channel as much as Maxey's. Yeah, there are some folks doing live making on Twitch, but I don't know. YouTube just seemed to have both actually. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to look at Rebecca's. I want to do 9. Okay. Wait, hold on. Am I doing this right? I can sit here cursing at the fleece and not feel like I'm the only person struggling. I like it. Okay, so 6. Oh, that seems weird. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. I'm going to trust my crazy math that I did at the live last time. I can tell you how I need to eat because my brain's not working. So it's probably a good time to call it quits. Turning to him on this stuff sucks, especially the minky. Yeah, well, because you have to edge finish minky, right, or else it'll unravel. So that you not only have the bulk of the minky, but whatever you're using to edge finish, and then you're folding it up. So if you're folding it under and then top stitching, yeah, you've got like 3 layers of fleece that you have to stab a needle through. That's a lot. Right, I'm doing it. I keep yeah, and my brother machine will not feed nicely. Yeah, I bet. Oh, and then what's worse is like on my old machine, you know, you had to kind of like shove thick fabric underneath the presser foot because it was so thick. So you're probably having to, let's see, if you're hemming, you're going to be sewing through 3 layers of fabric. And then depending on how your feed dogs operate and how high your presser foot lifts, yeah. You must love your mom. If only she knew, right? Okay, so I think I am done with this. Okay, so I think I should be able to get all of my skirt pieces out of the remaining Americana fabric. I think I can. We can be optimistic. All right, I think I am gonna go. I'm at my 3-hour mark and I've got giggling teenagers. They want to get boba. So thank you for joining me. I will probably do a couple more lives. Probably tomorrow I'll do another live. Hopefully earlier rather than later. I'd like to get on here by like 9 or 10. So we'll see. But thank you for joining me and good luck with your fleece robes. And I will definitely check out all of those channels you recommended. And I hope to see you soon. So take care. Bye.